We love that worship at Heritage Green is exciting and dynamic and alive, but we also know that we aren't just here to serve ourselves. When Jesus instituted the church, he called us to be his hands and feet for the community around us. Or as Jeremiah 29:7 says, to work and pray for the city around us. And so we started thinking very early on at Heritage Green how we could be a tangible blessing to the families in this community. And that's when some words of Jesus, a parable that he tells, really convicted us as to what it means to truly be a good neighbor.
In Luke chapter 10, Jesus is asked the question, "Who is my neighbor?" Then in typical Jesus fashion, he answers the question with a parable. He tells the story of a man who in his travels is attacked by robbers. They beat him, steal from him, strip him, and leave him for dead on the side of the road. Jesus then describes how the first two people to come across this man pass by on the other side of the road, not concerning themselves with him or his troubles. Then Jesus describes a third man, a Samaritan, who stops and shows compassion, pours oil on his wounds, binds them, places him on his donkey, and takes him to an inn where he goes so far as to pay for the man to be cared for after he himself has to leave. Jesus then asks a question of his own. In your opinion, which of these three acted like a neighbor toward the man? With this question, Jesus completely challenges our understanding of what it means to be a neighbor, flipping the idea on its head. In Jesus' eyes, being a neighbor has nothing to do with our geographic location. It's everything to do with action. In Jesus' eyes, a neighbor is one who reaches out and actively raises the health of the person in need within their reach.
We took this parable as a challenge. What could we do as a congregation to raise the health of every single person in this community? So we did a bunch of research and we found out that there's different types of health. There's physical health, emotional health, there's relational health, financial health. But underlying all of these types of health, there's one factor that influences all of them, and that is human connection. The more connected a person is to their community, the more all of those other areas of health will increase. And so we realized this was an opportunity. We could be the church that helps these neighbors around us to become more than just strangers, but to become truly good neighbors to one another.
To begin, we studied the work of leading community development researchers, like the asset-based community development model. Through this research, we were able to identify a very real issue in our community: social poverty. The idea by which, even though people live in proximity to many people, they are essentially cut off socially, consumed by seasonal relationships, work relationships, but never being real and grounded with the people they live with. From this discovery, we developed a community action team comprised of people within our church, as well as neighborhood-minded people in our community. We developed a quick win that could get our neighbors out of their houses and interacting together, building real community, fighting the social poverty in our area. Our solution was a community garage sale. A day when as many people as possible would host a garage sale in their own homes, getting people outside, interacting with each other, and buying each other's stuff. Our part was to host a barbecue in our parking lot. From this day, we saw an incredible response. Over 50 homes hosting garage sales. We counted at least 300 cars going through our parking lot, which probably means many more in our neighborhoods. But the most positive thing from this day was the feedback we got from neighbors, excited to have met the people they live near for the very first time.
Our next step is to invite a large number of our neighbors to help us complete a major plan that's going to change and improve this community long term. Now, this is still a work in progress, but right now we're imagining a farmer's market hosted right here in our parking lot. This area has actually been called a fresh food desert because it's very difficult to get your hands on fresh food and fresh produce unless you have a car and can drive 10 minutes away. By hosting a farmer's market here, not only will we address that need, but we'll also create a place where neighbors and folks who live nearby can meet and encounter each other and shop side by side, swap stories, and engage in a brand new level of community. We're so excited about what God did with the first step in our community outreach, and we can't wait to see how He's going to use this next step to further His mission in this community.